The moment my feet touched the ground in Kyoto, Japan, an immediate and palpable sense of excitement washed over me. It wasn't just the ancient temples or the serene gardens that called to me, but something far more visceral, something I could almost taste in the air. I arrived with a mission, a deep-seated hunger, not just for food but for the stories and traditions simmered into every local dish. This city, a former imperial capital, holds its culinary heritage with immense pride. I knew that to truly understand Kyoto, I couldn't just see it, I had to taste it. My stomach rumbled in anticipation of the incredible journey that was about to unfold, a journey guided by my taste buds through centuries of Japanese culinary artistry. My itinerary was simple: eat everything. I had a list, of course, a long one filled with names like kaiseki, yudofu, matcha, everything. But I was also ready for the unexpected. The real magic of food travel, I believe, happens in the spontaneous moments. The discovery of a hidden alleyway eatery, the recommendation from a friendly local, the dish you never knew existed, but suddenly can't live without. I walked out of the train station, the city buzzing around me with a quiet energy, and my senses were on high alert. I was ready to dive headfirst into the heart of Kyoto's food scene. To peel back the layers of its culture one delicious, unforgettable bite at a time, the adventure had officially begun. Kyoto's food scene is a tale of two worlds, each with its own distinct and captivating atmosphere. First, there is the legendary Nishiki Market, often called Kyoto's Kitchen. Walking through this long, narrow, covered street is a complete sensory overload in the best possible way. The energy is electric, their voice is a rhythmic chorus accompanying the sizzle of food on grills. The air is thick with a kaleidoscope of smells, the briny scent of fresh seafood, the sharp tang of tsukemono pickles, the sweet, nutty aroma of roasted mochi. It's a place where you can feel the pulse of the city's culinary heart beating strong. Then, as evening descends, the atmosphere shifts dramatically as you wander into the historic Gion district. Here, the bright, chaotic energy of the market gives way to a quiet, enchanting elegance. The narrow, stone-paved alleys, known as hanamichi, are lined with traditional wooden machiya houses, their windows glowing softly with warm light from behind sliding paper screens. Many of these discreet buildings house exclusive restaurants and tea houses. The feeling here is one of intimacy and reverence. You hear the soft clatter of dishes from within, the gentle murmur of conversation, the occasional shuffle of a geiko on her way to an appointment. It's a world away from the market's hustle, offering a more serene but equally profound food experience. I spent hours in Nishiki Market going from stall to stall, my eyes wide with wonder. One vendor offered tiny, glistening octopuses on a stick, their heads stuffed with a quail egg. Another specialized in dozens of varieties of pickled vegetables, their vibrant colors arranged in beautiful wooden barrels. I watched a man expertly grill unagi, basting it with a dark, sweet soy sauce that caramelized over the hot coals. The market isn't just a place to buy ingredients, it's a living, breathing museum of Kyoto food culture. Every stall tells a story and every bite is a history lesson. Kyoto is famous for its refined and elegant cuisine. My first major exploration was kaiseki, multi-course artistic performance on a plate, served in a traditional restaurant with a view of a tranquil garden. Each dish was a masterpiece. The meal began with a small appetizer, beautifully arranged with seasonal leaves and flowers. Then came delicate sashimi, so fresh it practically melted in my mouth. This was followed by a simmered dish, a grilled dish, a steamed dish, each one highlighting different cooking techniques and natural flavors. The experience was a slow, deliberate journey through tastes and textures, from the subtle sweetness of a piece of grilled fish to the deep umami of a clear dashi broth. Another must-try, yudofu, simmered tofu. This dish sounds incredibly simple, and that is precisely where its genius lies. I visited a restaurant near the Nanzenji temple that specialized in it. A large pot of simmering water with a piece of kombu was placed on our table, filled with silky, tender blocks of fresh tofu. We would gently lift the wobbly tofu from the broth and dip it into a ponzu sauce with freshly grated ginger and green onions. The flavor was unbelievably clean, delicate, and comforting. It was a testament to the Japanese philosophy of minimalism, proving that with ingredients of the highest quality, you don't need complexity to achieve perfection. Of course, no trip to Kyoto, and specifically the Uji region, would be complete without diving headfirst into the world of matcha. I had matcha soba noodles where the earthy tea flavor gave a fascinating depth to the chewy noodles. But the real highlight was the matcha parfait. Matcha ice cream, matcha jelly, matcha cake, sweet red bean paste. chewy shiratama dango, topped with a dusting of vibrant green matcha powder. Every spoonful was a different combination of textures and temperatures, a perfect balance of bitter, sweet, and creamy that was absolutely mind-blowing. Finally, I ventured into the world of Kyoto-style ramen. Unlike the rich pork-bone tonkatsu ramen famous in other parts of Japan, Kyoto's ramen often features a dark, shoyu-based broth that is dark, rich, and surprisingly clean-tasting, sometimes with a layer of pork back fat for added flavor. I found a tiny popular ramen-ya. I slurped down a bowl of thin, straight noodles swimming in this incredible broth, topped with tender slices of chashu pork, bamboo shoots, and a mountain of Kujo green onions. One of the most enriching parts of my culinary journey was, honestly, just listening to the stories behind the food. At a small Yudofu restaurant, the elderly owner shared how her family had been making tofu using the same method, using the same local spring water for, like, 3 generations. She explained that the simplicity of the dish was totally intentional, designed to be eaten by Buddhist monks who followed a vegetarian diet. The food wasn't just sustenance, it was a reflection of the region's spiritual history. Hearing her story while eating the silky tofu she had prepared with such care transformed the meal from a simple dish into a profound connection with Kyoto's past. Another unforgettable moment happened at a bustling stall in Nishiki Market selling tsukemono, or Japanese pickles. The vendor, a cheerful woman with a constant smile, offered me a sample of shibazuke, a bright purple pickle made from cucumber and shiso leaves. As I crunched into the tangy, salty slice, she told me that this type of pickle originated in the Ohara area of Kyoto, where villagers would preserve their summer harvest to last through the winter. She spoke of the importance of fermentation and preservation in Japanese cooking, a skill born out of necessity that evolved into an art form. Each pickle in her stall had a purpose and a history, a story of seasons and survival. While exploring the Arashiyama bamboo grove, I bought a yatsuhashi, a thin, triangular, cinnamon-flavored mochi treat. The man selling them explained that the snack is shaped to resemble a koto, a traditional Japanese stringed instrument, and was originally made as a souvenir for pilgrims visiting the city's shrines. Suddenly, this sweet, chewy snack was no longer just a snack. It was a symbol of music, pilgrimage, and the spirit of hospitality offered to travelers for centuries. At a small izakaya in Pontocho Alley, the chef told me why Kujo green onions were so important in Kyoto cuisine, as he generously piled them onto my ramen. He said their sweeter, milder flavor perfectly complements the rich broths without overpowering them. He was so passionate, explaining how local farmers have cultivated this specific variety for centuries. It became clear that in Kyoto, food is not just made, it is curated. The ingredients, the methods, and the stories are all inseparable, creating a culinary experience that feeds not just the body, but also the soul. These interactions were the secret ingredient that made every dish so much more flavorful. As my time in Kyoto came to an end, I reflected on the incredible array of flavors I had experienced. I arrived expecting to eat great food, but I left with something far more valuable. I realized that every bowl of ramen, every piece of tofu, every cup of matcha was a direct line to the heart of Japanese culture. The elegance of a kaiseki meal mirrors the Japanese appreciation for beauty, seasonality, and meticulous attention to detail. The simplicity of Yudofu speaks to a Zen philosophy of finding profundity in minimalism. The communal joy of an izakaya reflects the importance of community and shared experience. Food here is a language, and honestly, I had spent days learning its beautiful grammar. This journey reinforced my belief that the most authentic way to connect with a new place is through its food. You can visit all the temples and museums you want, but you will never get as close to the people and their history as when you sit down to eat what they eat. Sharing a meal breaks down barriers and opens up conversations. It allows you to participate in the daily rituals that define a culture. The flavors I tasted in Kyoto will stay with me forever, not just as memories of deliciousness, but as tangible connections to the city's soul. That is a souvenir you can't buy in any shop. My final meal was a simple one, a rice ball from a convenience store, eaten on the train platform as I prepared to leave. Even this humble onigiri was filled with pickled plum, wrapped perfectly in crisp nori. It was simple, delicious, and a reminder that in Japan, care and quality are present in every level of cuisine. It was the perfect bookend to a trip that celebrated food in all its forms, Each one had its place, its purpose, and its own unique story to tell, contributing to the rich tapestry of Kyoto's culinary identity. So, I encourage you, wherever you travel, to be adventurous. Step out of your comfort zone and into the local market. Point at something on a menu you can't pronounce. Ask the person cooking your meal about its history. Let your taste buds be your guide. Don't just see the world, taste it. It is an experience you will never forget. Eat adventurously, ask questions, taste history. These memories will nourish you long after your trip is over. That is a souvenir you can't buy in any shop. Don't just see the world, taste it.